Hey, I wanted to make a special food magic video just for the 4th of July. Now, I do understand that the 4th of July is not like a religious holiday, like, I would say Christmas, Easter, those are religious holidays. Why? Has some sort of association with, you know, um, maybe a specific religion, okay? But the 4th of July is actually a federal holiday, and it doesn't have anything to do with religion, but it is a celebration of the independence of the United States of America. Okay, now you don't have to practice magic on that day, but you know what? It is a day where people like to enjoy food. Okay, I know that a lot of families, if you have a good close family, be very grateful that you have someone to spend that time with on that day. But a lot of families get together that day. Okay, and some family members haven't seen each other for a very long time, and that's the day that they get together. Okay, a lot of people have picnics, barbecues, and then they usually end in the evening by enjoying watching the fireworks at the end of the evening, which is it's a great time, to get together with your family and friends. Okay, but of course, I remember all the food when I was growing up. Like, just about every holiday I think is has its food associations. And like I said, when it comes to the 4th of July, there's nothing mystical, there's nothing really magical about the 4th of July. But you know what? You can make it that way if you want to. It's all about your choices and how you see things. So let's see what we can do to try to make or see some sort of magical elements in some of these traditional 4th of July foods. And like I said, you don't have to eat it for the purpose of magic, but you can just enjoy this video and use it as food for thought, because there's times where we feel hopeless and like we don't have any control over anything, right? And one thing about food, the food magic, is it does have a lot of symbolism. And on holidays and stuff like that, you have like, decorative plates and designs and stuff like that. So you can use it along with your mental mind work, okay? So like, for example, I was just thinking about my feelings on the United States of America. Now, I know that our country is not perfect, okay? It is not perfect by any means, okay? But do I love my country? Yes, I do, okay? It has its flaws. It does, okay? But I live here. My feet are sitting on its soil, okay? Therefore, it should be respected, and I have respect for my country. And of course, I do appreciate how things like the Declaration of Independence were created, okay? And the masterminds and the intelligence that was put in place to create that, to understand like the human needs, okay? And compile it into this document, which, separated the United States from England, okay? So to me, when I think about, okay, and like I said, when it comes to the United States, there's a lot of people, what I call ignorant people. There's ignorant people, and there's a lot of, there's a little evil people here in the United States, okay? And it is what it is. You're going to find evil people everywhere, okay? But what I'm saying is that, when it comes to how this country was formulated and the, what do you call it? Like, as far as like our rights and the preservation of it and the protections that we do have is something that I do appreciate. Even though there's a lot of people, like your next door neighbor or your coworker may not be in line with how things were meant originally structured to be. We have people who can get petty. We have, like, neighbors, coworkers, even family members, they stab us in the back over things that really are our right to do so. Okay, sometimes we have some pretty ill-mannered fellow American people. Okay, but the way I look at it is I can't control what other people do. Okay, all I can do is be the best citizen I can possibly be. Okay, so I can only worry about myself, and in reality, the only thing you can do is worry about yourself. Okay, so you guys be the best American citizens you could possibly be. Okay, so I'm going to show some traditional food items that you probably remember seeing when you were younger, and then I'm going to go over, like I said, the magical symbolism. Now, of course, because this is a magic video, which is all about symbolism, I wanted to talk about the American flag for just a second, okay? Now, of course, the American flag is just like, rich with symbolism, right? Lots of like beautiful primary colors, the red, the white, the blue, right? Okay, the first flag was designed by Betsy Ross, and this was back in 1777, which was a long time ago. And this is before, like, the United States actually had 50 states. At the time, there was only 13 representations on the flag, okay? And the flag had the 13 stripes. Okay, but actually, let me back up a second. Betsy Ross created the flag that was in alignment and was conformant to the Flag Act of 1777, okay, which meant that they had specific guidelines on how the flag was supposed to be created and what it was supposed to like represent specifically, okay? So the idea with the act is that the United States was supposed to be represented with the 13 stripes, and they were supposed to be alternate in color, like one red, one white, you know the pattern, and that the Union be 13 stars, okay? So at that time, the 13 stars, which we have today, is 50, right? But at the time, it was only 13, okay? It was required that the stars would be displayed in a blue field, right? Which is like the backdrop of the blue little square portion that you see on the flag. And it was supposed to be representing like a new constellation. Okay, in 1782, Charles Thomson provided information on the colors of the flag. He stated that the white signified purity and innocence, the red was supposed to represent hardiness and valor, and the blue was to represent vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Now he writes to Congress in a way where he spells the word color, because America was actually, has its British origins. Okay, this is the reason why we, for example, celebrate Independence Day, is because it was the division between Britain and the United States. Okay, so he spells color C-O-L-O-U-R, but I did notice that he capitalizes the word chief, and he signifies like the blue representing, it almost seems like he's implying that the blue is like heavenly, or like, he writes chief with a capital C, so it makes me think, oh, he must see this as something kind of holy. And throughout the years, the United States has acquired more states, which is one of the reasons why we have the 50 stars on the flag today. Now, when I was growing up, my dad was in the branch of the military. He was in the Air Force, okay? So I remember, kind of reading some books on, respecting the United States flag, okay? Why? Because I remember we would say the Pledge of Allegiance, in the beginning of the start the day at school, right? So I always had this interest in it, because it almost kind of seemed like, that the teacher was expressing that we were supposed to have special, regard for the flag. Okay, she didn't really go into why we were supposed to. It's just that, everybody was required to stand at the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, there were some kids who, like when I was younger, I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So Jehovah's Witnesses were not allowed to pledge to the flag, okay? But it was, at least they would stand up to show respect, okay? That, they didn't have their hand over their heart, but they did have to stand up to show respect, okay? So in my mind, I kept thinking, why is it that there's so much, why do we do this? Why are we doing this, okay? So, I started looking into the reasons why, okay? And so there is such a thing called flag etiquette, okay? And you can find out about flag etiquette through looking up things for, like the U.S. flag code, okay? I believe the military.com has, yeah, they do. Military.com has information on the U.S. flag code. Now, the U.S. flag code is not something that is like heavily enforced, okay? Because I had mentioned before, I went for a walk one time and saw somebody throw out an American flag. It was like on the top of their trash can. And I kept thinking, wow, this person doesn't know flag etiquette. See, I used to read stuff like this, okay? You know, for fun and just intrigue, okay, when I was younger. So a lot of people may not be aware of, you know, what that symbolizes, okay? Obviously, when that guy, what was his name? Charles? And the other, okay, I got a little distracted there. Okay, when Charles Thompson was talking about, you know, the color significance of the American flag, you know, he did describe like the blue, and he was associating it with the creator. Okay, so I personally think that he must have had, or, you know, the idea of the American flag was obviously supposed to symbolize something powerful. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why we were instructed to show respect for it. Now, like I said, not all religions were able to salute it, okay, but they were at least supposed to stand up to show respect for it, okay? So I can tell that obviously this was supposed to be something important. Now, it's been a long time since I was a little school kid, right? But I do remember in class, you know, every day we would, of course, say the Pledge of Allegiance to start the day. And there were times where a student in the class would be selected to hold up the flag, and then everybody else would do their little Pledge of Allegiance, right? And I remember, you know, the teacher specifically saying, you know, hold up the flag a certain way, right? Like it could not hit the ground. You could not let the flag hit the ground. And then there were times where a kid would hold it up, and then the flag was always like in the front of the classroom, attached to a pole. Okay, so we didn't always have to have like a designated kid. Okay, sometimes the teacher just left the flag on top of, like, you know, this pole in the classroom, right? Okay, but that was one of the rules, like the flag could not touch the ground. Okay, so here, based on the U.S. flag code, it says the U.S. flag should be handled with respect and should not touch the ground. If it does, it should be cleaned and cared for properly. Okay, so obviously, like I said, this is just one of the examples of how it was meant for us to have a special regard for the United States flag. Now there's several like things that are listed in these flag codes, right? Of giving descriptions on what should and should not be done with the United States flag. And I'm just sharing a little snippet of it, snippet of the information with you guys. I know this is a food magic video, but it's going to lead into what I'm going to talk about in the next slide. So another rule, I would call it a rule, yeah, that's listed is, it says no part of the flag should ever be used as a costume or athletic uniform. However, a flag patch may be affixed to the uniform of military personnel, firemen, policemen, and members of patriotic organizations. The flag represents a living country and itself considered a living thing. Therefore, the lapel flag pin, being a replica, should be worn on the left lapel near the heart. See, now the creator of these flags saw a spiritual significance to the flag. Okay, they regard it highly. Okay, so, and if you really think about it, like when you think about like representation of things, right? Like attracts like. This is the reason why I don't disrespect the United States flag. I respect the fact that I live here. Okay, so if throwing things like the American flag that represents a place that's supposed to be my home into the trash can shows like a complete and utter disregard for the country and where you live. Think about it, okay, right? So this is just another example of the importance. Okay, so let's go back to the U.S. flag code. And this is where the tie-in comes in for the food magic, right? U.S. flag code says the United States flag should not be embroidered on such articles as cushions or handkerchiefs and the like, printed or otherwise, impressed on paper napkins or boxes or anything that is designed for temporary use and discard. Aha, right? Okay, so when I go out on the 4th of July, I don't celebrate the 4th of July every year, okay? It pretty much depends on, do I have money to celebrate the 4th of July? And if I don't, well, that's just too bad, right? But if I have it, I'm going to go ahead and do a little something, and generally that requires, that entails like maybe making something I usually don't make for dinner, like something special, like, I don't know, barbecue spare ribs. Okay, that's just an example. I have never actually tried making barbecue spare ribs on my own. Okay, but anyway, it's just an example. Okay, and then I would have like a little dessert, something special that, I want, right? Okay, and I generally go out and I buy paper plates, right? Because they're disposable, all right? Now, this etiquette says, what do you call it? This U.S. code says to not use American flag on things that are going to be discarded. This is one of the reasons why when you go buy these little disposable plates and napkins for the 4th of July, you'll notice that it has patriotic colors, but there's a variation on it most of the time, okay? There was only one time I saw like a paper plate with the full American flag on it, and I questioned it, and I flipped it over, and I saw that it was made in a different country. I'm assuming that somebody did not know what the etiquette was, but really, when you buy these like 4th of July type plates and napkins and little cups too, I've seen those, and the little paper tablecloths and all that. Generally, it's a variation of the original design to avoid going in against the flag etiquette. Okay, so it's a way of showing respect. So you got your patriotic colors, you're just not using the actual sign of the flag. And the reason why I created this video and I'm releasing this video a few days before the 4th of July is because I thought I wanted to give you guys time to get some of these things together if you decide to, maybe make a recipe for 4th of July, or you want to purchase some of these items. Now, this particular plate, oh my gosh, I think it's so cute, and it's being sold at Walmart right now. It's oval in shape, and it looks like it could hold a lot of food for the 4th of July. I'm putting the link in the description box. Now here's another variation of the American symbolism. We have like the fireworks and the stars, and it's written USA on the red and white the red and white star. I love the way this is created, and this is for a dessert plate. You get 8 in a pack. This is also sold at Walmart. The link is in the description box. Now, I love like the holidays, because I enjoy buying like the little disposable, colorful plates and napkins and all that stuff, okay? And I have to tell you that, when it comes to things that kind of make me kind of giddy, I guess it's just a child in me. I love colored cutlery, like plastic cutlery. I think that makes it extra fun. These right here are a really good price at Walmart, and they're blue, and they would go with whatever 4th of July decor that you have. Okay, so I'm going to pretend here, and since these videos are about magic, I just want to go into like, certain scenarios, okay? Now, I don't really think of the 4th of July as a day to, practice magic, or that there's any sort of magic significance to the 4th of July, okay? Not really, okay? It's not a religious holiday, it's nothing like that. But, I will tell you, when I get into manifestation mode, meaning like if there's a goal that I'm trying to accomplish, I will turn anything into something that I can use in order to get my goal. Now, obviously, food can be used in magic, okay? And, when we think about celebrations, days where we get together, like with our family, our friends, sometimes coworkers or whatever, you have these group meetings, okay? And sometimes even when you go to places like restaurants, okay? The food is not made by you, but you can still enchant it, right? With your power hand finger to inactivate the magical energy so that you can consume it, right? So let's just pretend that we're all at a party and, we're starting off with this plate, okay? So, like I said, I'm the kind of person, if I want something, right, I'm going to use everything. Even choices like, if somebody comes in to work and they say, hey, Maria, what color notebook do you want? Because sometimes you know how you have like meetings at work and they supply you with your office supplies. And they're like, okay, what color do you want? Let's just say, for example, I really want a raise at work, right? And so the color options in their big stack of multicolored notebooks, you can choose from yellow, you can choose from green, you can have purple or whatever, right? But my focus is money. I'm going to change, even though it's small, okay, and it seems like, not even, significant, right? But if, since I am in manifestation mode, I'm going to make everything related to my goal. So I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to choose the green one, right? Same thing. Okay, so let's just pretend you're in manifestation mode. Okay, you've been wondering, you've been wanting something, and you want to ritualize it as much as you possibly can. Okay, and in my case, I wear clothes to do that. Okay, and there are times where, obviously I use food, I use everything. Okay, so let's just say, you're at a party, you're at a group gathering, and you're not cooking the food. Okay, so, but you still want to practice some magic and you still want to be working on your goal. You're trying to make every little thing count. So, okay, we start off at the party. So this is I'm going to look at this plate as my piece of America, meaning I cannot control what people do here in this country. I can only control me. So how do I want to exist in America? Okay, so here's my little representation of America. I'm using the plate. And I just thought I'd reiterate, like, when you're in situations and you're not really in control of the food that you're eating, like, for example, you're at a restaurant with a group of friends, or you're at a party, you didn't prepare the food, and this is what I usually do. I say a silent prayer to remove energies that are not mine, okay? Just like you can pour in positive energies into the food, there's a lot of people who are cooking who are concentrating on negative things, whatever, while they're preparing your food. Okay, so, and then might be somebody who might be trying to actually poison you. You never know. Okay, so always pray over your food. Okay, pray over it. Anyway, so, and the next thing is, if you're using it for magic, don't forget to use your magic finger on your power hand to charge the food magically, if that's your goal. Like I said, food magic, or sorry, food does not always have to be used for magic. Okay, there's times we just eat just to be eating. Okay, but like I said, if you're one of those people who want to turn everything into, tools for manifesting, you're going to be well prepared for the party. Okay, so going back to the imaginary 4th of July party that we're all attending, right? So I notice as I'm going through the little buffet tables, I'm noticing that they're serving barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. Now, I'm going to tell you what, that's one of my favorite things to have for the 4th of July, okay? It's not necessarily based on the symbolism, it's just the fact that I can't imagine anyone not liking a pulled pork sandwich, unless, of course, you're a vegetarian, okay? So, we always, if you watch my other magic videos, you'll know that I've mentioned pork before, and I know that some people do not eat pork. But for those who do, pork is a lucky meat, right? It represents luck, okay, for people who are okay with the pig, okay? Like I said, not everybody's okay with the little piggy, but for those who are, it's a lucky animal, all right? So I like this recipe. It's by Happy Foods. To happyfoodstube.com. The link is going to be in the description box. Now let's go and analyze this pork. Okay, now the pork is obviously lucky, and generally it's smothered in barbecue sauce, which I believe the base of that is generally tomato, which is more luck. Okay, and protection for that matter. Okay, it looks like on this she's got like some slices of onions. You got your protection there,
And then she shows it on a sesame seed bun. Okay, I like sesame seed buns. Why? Because sesames represent opportunities opening up. This is a very lucky sandwich. Okay, the pulled pork sandwich is ideal for luckiness. Okay, I mean lucky, to be lucky. Okay, so if you're putting that little pork sandwich on that American plate, this is your little section of America. Be lucky in America. Okay, now when it comes to, I would say the majority of people, when you think of food for the 4th of July, I think most people's mind would immediately be directed to the hot dog. Okay, and to me, I'm always somebody who prefers, like, the pulled pork sandwiches over the hot dog, but it's a matter of preference. Okay, now the hot dog symbolizes, it does have a phallus shape. Okay, we can't deny the fact that a hot dog does have a phallus shape, and that's not the main reason why everybody eats a hot dog, as we all know. Okay, they're pretty common, but the phallus does, represent directing powerful energy. Okay, so if that is your focus. For example, some people are shy. They need to come out of their shell. They don't know how to, they might be uncomfortable, communicating, or they're not able to really exert the power that they need to. Okay, so in this case, phallus, the symbolism of the phallus can be used in order to help a person be more aggressive at times. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, that might be a secret wish of yours. Okay, and there's no shame in that if it is. Also, the phallus, of course, can represent, and most likely for some people will represent, sexual energy. Okay, that's also another way of looking at the phallus. Most hot dogs are made of a combination of pork and beef together. Okay, pork symbolizes luck and beef is for protection. I do know that, some of the hot dogs that you see, like, for example, yeah, I missed the 99-cent store. Okay, but a lot of those were mixed with a bunch of other different meats, like chicken. Okay, those are some of the less expensive type hot dogs. You just look on the package. If you are preparing your own hot dog, you can choose which kind of hot dog you want. But the most common ones that, I would say, like, some of the big name brands, I'm not going to name them because they don't come up to my mind right now, but the majority of them are mixed with those two forms of meat, the pork and the beef. It's so much nicer when you can add the condiments yourself. Okay, so mustard is good for courage and protection. So when you're writing something on your hot dog, you don't have to just put it on as a straight line or a squiggle. You can get creative and you can write your name, or you could write the goal out. Now I know that this, we're pretending that we're at a party, right? We're pretending that we're at a party, and of course, you're around other people. So, you don't want to do this in front of other people, but, when you get off to a little corner to yourself, if you want to, and especially if you're bored, right? You can always go ahead and write your name with the mustard. Yeah, there's a bunch of things you can put on a hot dog. I think another common thing would be ketchup, which is good for love, protection, and luck. And then, of course, relish. Okay, that's another common hot dog topping. That's good for love, lust, protection, and money. Now, are you a sauerkraut person? Okay, sauerkraut is made from cabbage. Okay, and cabbage is considered to be, a very lucky vegetable. That's another topping that you can put on your hot dog. Okay, and speaking of cabbage, let's talk about side orders, right? Let's talk about the side foods. I think coleslaw is another 4th of July uh, food that you can serve that's pretty common. I saw this recipe on, let's see, it is called Cooking Classy, and it only requires 4 ingredients. Okay, which is great. And I always look for the easy ones, right? So obviously cabbage is luck, right? And in the recipe they're suggesting, like, a, what do you call it, like a mix, like a coleslaw mix. Okay, and generally that has, like, shredded cabbage and like some shards of like carrots. Okay, so we have the carrots is like good for fertility and lust. Okay, and then mayonnaise, it lists mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is good for rebirth, transformation, removing negativity, and for purification. Okay, the other ingredient would be the apple cider vinegar, which is good for purification and protection. And then honey. Okay, and I love honey because it has so many wonderful blessings and uses. Okay, honey could be good for health, love, happiness, sex, weight loss, and wisdom. So overall, when I look at this recipe, I think that I would eat this for overall blessings, balance, and luck. Okay, I'm going to put the link in the description box for this recipe. Okay, the next side dish I was going to recommend was macaroni and cheese, right? Because I think a lot of people have that for different holidays. I know people have macaroni and cheese for Christmas, they have it on their birthdays, they have it whatever. Okay, so I would say macaroni and cheese, people somehow incorporate that into their celebration, okay? So as I was looking for a specific recipe, because I was thinking about substituting pasta, you know, the regular elbow macaroni, for making it more like a 4th of July celebration. So I was in search of star pastas, and this came up in my search. It's called, the company's called Pastabilities, which I think is really cool. And it's called American Pride Pasta. And these are shapes of like little patriotic shapes. So they have like the 5-pointed star, and they also have flags. Now, generally when I think of like the macaroni and cheese recipe, they usually use like an elbow pasta, and the reason why they do that is because it kind of holds in the certain like sauce or cheese. Okay, I have not tried this pasta for macaroni and cheese, but I might try it this 4th of July. Okay, and I was thinking about, instead of using a yellow cheese, I was thinking about using a white cheese instead. Okay, so maybe you guys want to go ahead and give this a try. I am putting the link for the American Pride pasta in the description box. Okay, now I'm getting all giddy inside, okay, because I'm looking at this company's variety of pasta, and I'm just my mind is blown. Okay, like everyone knows that I love working with pasta because of the unique shapes, right? But these, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that these people created these different shapes. Okay, so this gives you more to work with. Okay, um, they have a dog lovers pasta with like looks like there's little paws and like little dog bones in there. That is so cute. And then they have a heart, eat your heart out pasta. Oh my God, that is so cute. Little heart shaped pastas. Maybe if you're interested in love, you could, or self love, you can make yourself a soup with this sort of like, with the heart shapes. And if you're a dog lover, you could make, you know, just to be cute. I don't know how, you know, focusing on dog shapes is going to help your dog really and eat it, but you know, it's your mind. You can probably think of something, right? What really blew me away are these two, though. Okay, um, I'm so glad somebody made a pasta. These people made a pasta in like dollar shape signs. Okay, it's called Thanks a Million Pasta. Okay, so if you're interested in doing any prosperity or money spells, you can go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, and then this is another good one, music pasta. They're like little music notes shaped little music notes, okay, made into pasta. So if you're somebody who's, you know, maybe trying to improve your music skill or something, whether you be a singer or somebody who's working with an instrument, these are these great focal points, and I think this is awesome. I don't know how long this company's been around, but you know, I have loved working with food in Magic for a very long time. And you know, some people just like making shapes. They don't really put the connection of, you know, let me use this for Magic. But the more shapes you can use in your kitchen Magic, the better. So I'm putting the link in the description box for the American pastas, and then once you click on that link, it'll take you to the other varieties as well. Okay, I read a little bit more on this company, Pastabilities,
and it looks like this company's been around for about 3 decades. And they focus on innovation, developing new products, and they make mealtime happier, healthier, and easier. So, like I said, I'm a pasta lover. I like to work with pasta shapes. I've never heard of this company before. Maybe it's because it's never been in the stores, and I generally work with pasta shapes that are pretty common, like, the moon shapes, the elbow macaroni, the star shape, the bow tie, spirals, that kind of stuff. So when you see things that are special, and yes, I was well aware that they made a penis pasta, right? But it's just cool to actually know that you can get more varieties in pasta. So definitely check this company out. Like I said, the link is in the description box. Now, other common foods that are served on the 4th of July would be like potato salad and like baked beans. And both of these foods, like the potato salad and the beans, are ideal for things like stability. Another food item that comes to mind when I was growing up would be corn on the cob, okay? And corn represents divination, luck, and protection. Now, I remember my mom, the way that she used to cook corn on the cob. And, my mom, I'm sure she did her best, but, I prefer my corn on the cob prepared on a grill. My mother would boil the corn on the cob. Not exactly my favorite thing. I like being outdoors on the 4th of July if possible. Mind you, I have not been able to do that in a very long time. But if I can make corn on the cob on the grill, that's usually what I choose to do. Okay, and of course, you can use, instead of corn on the cob, you can also have your corn muffins, or you can have all of it. That's a pretty big plate. That plate is like that oval plate that I showed at the beginning of this video. You could put a bunch of food on that plate, so you might as well have some corn muffins on top of that, and throw some butter as well on there. Okay, before I go into like the desserts of this video, I kind of wanted to like go back into the imaginary 4th of July party. And I know, like, when they're serving a lot of food, there's usually kids running around. I remember the 4th of July when I was a kid, what it felt like, and having, the little 4th of July decorations. And I remember, like, the little cutlery items. And I put the little blue ribbon in this picture because I remember my mom putting ribbons in my hair. Either they were blue, like this, or they were red. Sometimes she would buy those little barrettes to put in my hair. This is just like going back in time, thinking about what made the 4th of July festive to me and memorable. Okay. And then, of course, if we weren't eating dinner, it was just kind of like in between dinner and dessert. Kids are just kind of running around doing whatever. They were usually snacking on things like watermelon or popsicles. I know popsicles were something that we kept in the freezer a lot. Now, I do have a recipe for the popsicles on the upper left hand corner. It is a homemade recipe. It's a video link that will show you how to make these popsicles. But I do remember having not these specific popsicles, but there used to be popsicles when I was a kid that looked similar to these right here, but they had 2 sticks hanging out of the popsicle. That way you could actually split it and share it with another person. But 4th of July, obviously, brings up a lot of like fun, positive memories for me, and what the things that I associate with the 4th of July. So I think of, me being a young girl. I even have like a video that I put like a fire hydrant. Yeah, that's the flipping the Nazi experiment. I put a picture of like the fire hydrants that they had for the bicentennial that year, and they painted them all like patriotic and stuff like that. That's just another memory I have of what was going on at that time. But these are the things I associate it with, and I think food sometimes can not only help us manifest, but sometimes food can take us down, back down memory lane. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, it was this recipe, the patriotic pretzels, that inspired me to make this video, okay? Because I was doing some searching online for some chocolate dipped pretzels, right? And this was during like a little bit before the solstice. Now, I usually do eat pretzels for like the solstice. That would be for the winter and the summer solstice, right? The pretzel represents protection, okay? And I don't drink beer anymore, but some people, you know, who do drink beer have pretzels with beer, okay? Because beer is another type, protective type uh, symbol, or I guess, you know, represents protection. So I like, you know, pretzels during like, you know, for the summer solstice, for the winter solstice, and just when you need to feel protective, right? What I liked about her pretzels is that they are rich in color. Now I've seen patriotic pretzels in stores, okay, prepackaged ones, and what got me about her pretzels is that they're so like rich in color. Okay, this is the housewifemodern.com, and this recipe will be in the description box. It looks like, basically, when I'm looking at the recipe, the information that she's putting, it looks as though the candy melts are made of chocolate. So what attracted me was the royal blue, the deep royal blue. So, and then the sanding sugar is like what makes it sparkly, and of course, extra sweet. So it definitely looks like a recipe that's worth trying. I'm going to go ahead and try it out for the 4th of July. The pretzel actually originated in Germany, and the pronunciation it's Bretzel. Okay? This baked pastry was made from a dough, and it's commonly shaped into a knot, and it's that knot that's what makes it protective. And so on the other hand, on the other side is we have beer, and so a lot of people drink beer and pretzels for Christmas. That's generally the tradition, is to have beer and pretzels for your protective type celebration. But you know, there can be Christmas in July, and you can use this for the 4th of July as well. Now for this particular recipe, you're going to be using like the pre-packaged pretzels, like in a bag. And of course, this is a really cute cup to serve it in. This is also available at Walmart, and the link will be in the description box. When it comes to desserts for the 4th of July, I'm a big fan, or just really any holiday, I'm a big fan of people who can actually create unique pie crust. You know, this one right here is a version of the American flag, and I found this one on Pinterest. Looks like the person who posted this is Warm Morning Sun. And you know, it's fun to experiment with different kinds of crusts. I am not somebody who's good at it, so I definitely admire people who can do that. The link for this to view this pie crust is in the description. It's in the description box. And that pie crust can be used for other traditional pies. Now, what would be a celebration without cookies? Now, of course, you can use different decorative things to adorn the cookies. You could use icing, sprinkles, all kinds of things. So I checked out this website. It's called thecheerfulspirit.com. They have 12 easy 4th of July cookies, and I'm just going to show you a few pictures of them. The link is going to be in the description box. Okay, so I think those 12 cookie ideas are like an affiliate of the Swirls of Flavor, because when I click on the link, it takes me to another page, which is Swirls of Flavor, which shows these cookies. And what attracted me to these cookies, of course, is like, you know, the different color combinations. The person, her name is Gwen. She does give recommendations on like how to use these cookies, like maybe like as in a cookie sandwich, which sounds like a good idea. I would probably put them some vanilla ice cream in between these two and have like a little ice cream sandwich out of that. Use your imagination. Okay, this cookie recipe is from Sugar and Soul, and it looks like you use a velvet cake mix recipe to make cookies. I've never heard of that, but you know what? I have some velvet cake mix in my cupboard, and I might be able to make these for 4th of July. It's nice when you have this stuff on hand. And it looks like it includes M&Ms, so it looks like it's a cool recipe to check it out. These red, white, and blue pinwheel icebox cookies are from justataste.com, And it's funny because I just did a video on spiral cakes, talking about the spiral. This looks really cool. I love the colors and I love the spiral. And it looks like it can be eaten in a ritualistic way if you choose to do that. The Cheerful Spirit link is in the description box. You'll be able to find all the 12 easy 4th of July cookies there. When it comes to cake decorating, I think the best thing to do is base it on your view of how you look at America. Like, you know, when I think of the 4th of July, there's certain things that stand out in my mind. Like, you know, as silly as it sounds, like the fire hydrant, you know, when they used to decorate them when I was little, that's one thing that comes to mind. And of course, the colors of the patriotic colors of the United States, the red, white, and blue. This particular picture I found on Pinterest. You know, that's a one good place to get ideas on decorating cakes, is looking at, you know, different people's posts. I found this one. Her name is Chantel. I'm following her on Pinterest. I like the simplicity of this cake. Now, if I was going to bake this cake, I would probably go for like a chocolate, the inside chocolate, and then have like a cream cheese frosting. That's my favorite cake, okay? With devil's food cake with like a chocolate cream cheese icing. But this is just one idea. I like this one a lot. You know, I don't know if I would try it or not. We'll see, okay? Because I'm not that skilled when it comes to like designing things with, you know, those squirt bottles or whatever. But, you know, I think she did a good job on this. And, you know, however you see, like I said, the 4th of July, you might like more stars. You might want to use sprinkles. You might want to use, the icings are fun too. They also have cakes where you could, you know, decorate using candy, pieces of candy like jelly beans, suckers. Just use your imagination. This one, I definitely think you should check it out. The link is in the description box. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful 4th of July, and I'll be back with another video shortly. Take care. Bye-bye. The old legend says that in 1879, Prince Alamehu of Ethiopia fell ill, died, and was buried in the catacombs of St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. I am here to tell you today that those who believed in the legend were wrong. The prince lived on and made his way to America to become a successful metaphysical practitioner, displaying his unique craft as a clairvoyant, a phrenologist, astrologer, seer, and teacher. While in the States, he adapted the name of Calvin Brazan Berganza and traveled across the land, making a success in the occult mail order business. C.B. Berganza became known as the Prince of Mystics and impressed, mesmerized, and influenced many recognizable names in the New Thought movement, such as Edgar Cayce, Ellen White, and even Aleister Crowley. C.B. Berganza has returned to Earth through cloning. My name is Maria Gordon, and I am the reincarnation of C.B. Berganza. Instead of using the old mail order business, today C.B. Berganza returns to bring you esoteric lessons for the modern age with the Swan Song Manifesto online. From now until September, the Swan Song Manifesto is offering 4 to 6 monthly magic video lessons, celebrity interviews, metaphysical product reviews, and fun contests with cash and mojo prizes. In addition, a quarterly newsletter will be posted at the beginning of each month. The total price for this special offer is $7.50 instead of the monthly fee of $10. Click on the link in the description box to support the Swan Song Manifesto.